Hi, my name's Andrew. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to review a fundraising investor database in the fashion and beauty sector. If you watch my previous videos, you know that you can click my Fiverr link below to get information on investor databases for venture capital, private equity, angel groups, family investment offices, and more. I also help clients with pitch deck reviews. If you're getting ready to send your pitch deck out to investors, I have a service on Fiverr where I will review it for you. Approximately 80% of the pitch decks that I receive are not suitable to be sent out to investors. Databases are now free with a pitch deck review. This is a new program that I have just started. It allows you to get one sector, and that's one sector only per client. Contact me for more details. This is good news if you are getting ready to send your pitch deck out to investors so you can hit the ground running with your fundraising program. Please take a second to support my channel by giving it a like, a share, and subscribing. So here's some of the sectors I'm covering in these recent videos. If you've seen my channel, you see I have around 280 videos, and that is anything from helping create pitch decks, business plans, fundraising databases, tips on fundraising, and more. And we've covered off a number of sectors right now. So if any of you, the founders out there, are looking to create pitch decks or raise funds and your sectors are on these lists, this series of videos is really good because it helps you with database creation on how I use my 400,000 investor contacts to create databases for these sectors. So today we're going to handle the fashion and beauty tech. So the keywords that I used for a database in this case is obviously fashion and beauty. We also use e-commerce because an increasing amount of startups in these fields are going to be online fashion, beauty platforms, something tech related of course, so that's why we use technology, digital media as well, and mobile app development is also used. So what did the final database include? So I was able to find 5,500 contacts. That included about 2,900 emails, 3,700 LinkedIns, and 4,300 websites. This included some key contacts with titles and their email addresses as well. So what type of contacts will benefit from a fashion and beauty investors database? So this is pretty wide. Emerging fashion brands, startups seeking funds to scale operations, launch new collections, and expand into global markets. Beauty tech innovators, this is companies merging tech with beauty, and that's a very big sector, by the way. Actually, that sentence right there takes up most of the startups in the fashion and beauty sector. So again, companies merging tech with beauty, like AR, makeup trials, or AI-driven skincare recommendations. Sustainable fashion initiatives, brands focusing on eco-friendly sustainable production and seeking aligned investors. Cosmetic and skin care entrepreneurs, new entrants looking for capital to develop, market, and distribute their products. Fashion e-commerce platforms, that's another big one. Online retailers aiming to expand product lines or to enter new geographical markets. Niche beauty product developers, that's innovators specializing in sectors like vegan cosmetics, organic skincare, or a specialized beauty tool. So the beauty and fashion businesses, has a wide spectrum, and that's why this database is going to have a fairly large amount of contacts for you to approach. So let's take a look at the database. So now we're over on the database section, and as you can see here on the bottom, we've got fashion and beauty as keywords. Those are the main keywords that were used in this particular case to try to source contacts, investor contacts who specialize in those fields. E-commerce also, mainly because fashion and beauty and e-commerce kind of go hand in hand. So those are good contacts. Technology also gets thrown in here. regardless of whether you're just a straight brick and mortar type firm, which are not typical for startups in the beauty and fashion business these days. Most of this stuff has gone online and very high tech. But it also helps you build a large platform, and that's why the database has a large amount of clients. Digital media as well, that factors in, and of course mobile apps, because almost all fashion and beauty has to have some sort of mobile app or application content component to it. So most of these databases are going to have least contact country. They're going to have websites. Now, one thing to keep in mind is when you're fundraising, it is not to be a spam email exercise with your pitch deck or your information. These databases are meant to be used for research into companies that look at your sector. I have a service on Fiverr where I actually help you create investor letters, and I recommend that founders use 3 types of letters when going out to investors to diversify the type of message and response that you're going to get. You should treat fundraising as business development. Fundraising is one of the hardest aspects of your business because it is the one where you get the least feedback. And most people who will tell you who have been doing fundraising, and I can tell you this from first-hand experience, you get an awful lot of silence. Very rarely will you get a response, but again, that's why the more people you contact, the more responses is going to help you out. One thing that you should keep in mind that when you go out to, whether it's a venture capital, angel investors, corporate venture capital, private equity, family investment offices, you should be using this as a exercise to make secondary contacts. If you do get somebody that contacts you and, for example, says, thank you for sending the information, your product doesn't really suit our categories, or we're not ready because you haven't reached the second round or third round, and that happens a lot. Take the opportunity to get back to that person, thank them for contacting you, and ask them if they know anybody that might be helpful. Now, the reason that I ask you to do this is everybody that's in the private equity firms, venture capital, angel investors, any types of funds, they all know people in the other cross sectors of the industries, usually 5 or 10. So if you actually go back to that person that was nice enough to contact you and say, thank you for your email, but we're not, it's not the right time, make contact with them. Ask them for 2 or 3 names of people that they might be able to help you with. They will almost always help you because there are certain people in business that are just nice and just easy to communicate with and understand the big picture that never write off somebody in the early stages because they may want to come back, and that's what you want to do. You want to start a spreadsheet that has follow-ups to these type of people. For example, if this particular client isn't able to help you out in the initial fundraising, they may help you out in round 2, or when you've made more milestones and traction. Maybe you've landed a very large national account. Then you go back to that person and say, listen, we've got some good news here. We've just increased our orders from $500,000 to $2.5 million in 6 months. That's how you fundraise. You treat it like a business development exercise. And another reason why you do that is you want to actually start to build up a database of people that might be interested in your product once you do expand. Remember that if these people are in the fashion and beauty sector, they may be fundraising, they may be in the investment business, but they may also be customers later on in your growth. So that's why you have to be really good when it comes to fundraising. And again, it's the hardest part that what you'll do as a founder, but if you treat it very much like a business development exercise, you're going to get more from it. So let's just take a review here. As you see here, there's 5,500 emails, and that's mainly because the technology gives you a large bump of 4,000 contacts. You've got 2,955 emails, 3,700 LinkedIns, and 4,300 websites. You're always going to have more websites because the database mostly is going to have a website per contact. So one thing that you have to remember is when you go to the websites and doing your research, click on it. You're almost always going to find some contacts there. They almost always are going to have their LinkedIn addresses, or they may have their private business emails attached to their bio on their website. So that's something you have to keep in mind, and that's the reason why you don't have a one-for-one match of emails per contacts. Use the database for research, build up your spreadsheet, and this will really help you in your fundraising. So that's how I would develop a database for somebody that is in the fashion and beauty sectors. Are you looking for updated investor databases? My databases include venture capital, private equity, family offices, angel investors, angel groups, and high net worth investors with over 400,000 verified global contacts. And be sure to check out my full database of family investment offices, the perfect way to access ultra high net worth investors. This is the largest database of family investment offices that you're able to access. There's over 10,000 contacts. Click my Fiverr link below for more information. Thank you for watching this video.